So don't you worry. I'm gonna check the all the what's it calling everything what's happening on a live.
Yes, of course.
So
yes.
let's go talk. Let's go introduce. We are live. We are live. So
We are
We are
live.
live. It's recorded and everything else. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's our first time we are now calling from our podcast studio secret location, and it's a true privilege today to host truly amazing guest of mine. Her name is Panch. Panch is a multi-award-winning executive mindset coach, mindfulness resolution, and trainer with a proven track record of helping individuals and teams achieving their full potential. 25 years of experience. So, instead of me reading those, I have the questions. I have so many questions for you. So, first of all, thank you for coming on Saturday afternoon. I really want you to now, you express yourself. So let's go talk about Panch.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to join us. Everybody who is there are gonna search now the live feed, and we ask questions. You can ask questions. Be nice, be polite. Don't be the troll. Don't be the BS artist. Be the person who wants to learn. So
Yep.
Mike is yours.
Thank you so much. Mario, thank you very much for inviting me. It's my honor, it's my privilege and pleasure to be here. And most importantly, my passion topic, mindfulness. So I can talk until the cows come home.
Yes.
But let's within the time that we've got, we will do maximum justice to the time that we have.
Okay, so we are live, ladies and gentlemen. So this is my friend Uma. You can see her now. We're talking in full screen. So
Yeah.
we're everywhere.
Yeah.
We're here now. People can ask the questions. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller screen. So guys, because it's a live chat, you can. Sarah used to go. Manuk FPZ. Thank you very much, my friend. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because this is a very interesting topic. What led you to learn about and practice mindfulness?
Thank you so much. That I think is a fantastic question to start with. So presently, before I go to what led me to start practicing mindfulness, is just where I am right now in terms of the work that I do is that I'm a mindset coach and a corporate trainer working with organizations running mindfulness training. So I'm a mindfulness trainer, and pretty much I'm a advocate for mental health in workplace. And I want to make sure that people, individuals and teams, every single person are able to experience life to their fullest. And then how do you do that? Now, I was at a point in my life where I felt so rock bottom and burnt out because of multiple competing priorities, like all of us do, working and having our families, having a personal life, trying and juggling multiple things at the same time. Now, what happens in doing that is, for me, I think a point came where I was totally burnt out. Being a high achiever, all of us, right, in our own rights, we try to achieve. We want to make the best out of the life that we have. And in that pursuit of, making the best out of everything, I think I ended up being burned out. And I didn't know that was happening to me until I totally felt that I couldn't do anything anymore. And this was having a lot of effect on my mental, emotional, physical well-being. And then I thought, you know what, I need to stop. And I need to take stock of what's happening, because whatever I was doing was not working for me, right? Might be working for others. Things were going well, seemed to be going well at the external world. But in my internal world, I was literally breaking down. And then I realized something needed to shift at this point. And that was the moment I decided to look for solutions to help me to overcome the stress, anxiety, and societal pressures, and then the need to perform and also be stress-free. So all these things, where is a one-shot pill? Where is that one-shot answer or solution to this challenge? That quest to find out what it was led me to mindfulness, because then when I started to research, I found out that, oh wow, okay, what is mindfulness? And then there are things like meditation and then journaling. And then I was like, oh, well, but I don't think meditation is for me, because I don't see myself sitting in Himalayas and meditating, sitting calm and meditating. I'm this very bubbly, outgoing person, and that didn't seem to fit in my bill, right? But then on further research, I realized that it was not just that. Mindfulness was not just about meditating and just being in silence or just cutting away from the world. It was beyond that. So that is my journey into mindfulness, Mario.
And how the mindfulness impacted your life?
Oh, wow. What an impact, Mario. Just in a very short span, right? I started to see phenomenal transformation. Transformation in ways that I didn't even realize would even exist. And that journey into mindfulness is literally just being in the moment. So I guess I might just shed a little bit of light for our audience who's thinking, oh, okay, so what is mindfulness? Okay, keep talking mindfulness, mindfulness. What is mindfulness, okay? I'll give you a simple definition and a complicated definition. Mindfulness is just being right here, right now.
Right here, right now. That's it.
That's it.
That's entire thing you had to say to me. That's it. Okay, that's very interesting. Okay.
But Mario,
yes.
I'm going to give you the complicated definition.
Please, because it's like everybody. It seems to me that everybody has a complicated definition.
Of
So,
course, yes.
I like to say to all our viewers, as Uma, she's answering your question. The questions I wrote it. I'm gonna occasionally check because we are live, guys. So checking the. If you have any questions, feel free to leave on our YouTube channel, Mario Vekas. In the meantime, I'm gonna check. So like disregard my presence. It's all about Uma. So Uma,
Yeah.
give
So
me
the definition.
definition.
Yeah. So as John Kabat-Zinn defines, mindfulness is the awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally.
Okay, that's
Quite a mouthful, right?
yeah.
Quite a mouthful. However, in the simplest
It
form,
is. It is.
but in its very simple form,
Yeah.
it's just right here, right now. And I will explain further as we go with the rest of the questions. I will explain to you how everything fits into what you would be able to understand better.
So, on that respect, can I ask you a question? Simple question: how the mindfulness impacted? What are the key benefits of the mindfulness?
So the way it impacted my life was that I was able to, no matter what was going on in my life, all of us are having different phases of our life, difficult challenges and moments, rock bottom or, feeling stuck and saturated. No matter what was happening, I was just able to be happy and just be more fulfilled in my life as compared to a point where I was chasing and I was trying to achieve stuff and still achieving and not being happy. And then also suffering because of so many things that was going on in my life, just like for all of us. And so the benefit for me was simply stress reduction, peak performance, and absolute well-being. And a sense of joy, a purpose, and presence, enhanced relationships, enhanced performance, intellect. And as you might know, I just told you that I do coaching and training, and I'm also an academic, and I'm a researcher. So to be able to juggle so much within just the 24 hours that we have, and yet to be happy and have that joy and quality of life, I owe it to mindfulness.
I'm just like looks so simple, and I like to remind everybody of our listeners and viewers. I'm going to leave in the comment section below after we finish how you can reach Uma, and it's very important in today's DNA age we have the mind who is functioning properly, and that we can do proper reasoning of the life what we want, how we want. So like before we continue, I'd like to have another question. So what misconceptions about mindfulness do you hear most often? And this is what I said to, like you said to me, I'll give you the simple explanation, there comes a big explanation. So please tell us.
The common misconceptions is that mindfulness is very difficult. And there are misconceptions that, mindfulness, I think it's quite easy, you can just do it. And other misconception that it is completely religious, or that there is no scientific evidence behind mindfulness. So these are some of the misconceptions that there is about mindfulness. And so sometimes people really push away mindfulness because all this stigma has caused a sort of a negative sort of a connotation towards mindfulness.
Okay.
And that really breaks my heart to know that it's not that complicated in terms of practicing mindfulness, which I will explain shortly how we practice. But I think generally the myth is all these things that we just spoke about.
That it is like. But can I ask you, what do you think? How the people can? This is out of my question. I was just thinking while we're talking now. There's plenty of books about mindfulness, right? And everybody talks differently. Everybody tries to grab this attention. Can you suggest any of your material we can read?
Yeah.
Can we read something about mindfulness on your own websites?
Yes. So what I've done is, rather than reading, I have created a 8-week mindfulness program. Because the reason is, we can keep reading, Mario, but all of us, we all become information hoarders. Information hoarders, but there's no implementation at all.
Yeah.
So for me, it's more about practical application of the knowledge and the theory. So the way I do it is, I run an 8-week mindfulness program. And during this program, every week I introduce the participants to one aspect of the pillar of mindfulness. And then we go and apply it during that week. And then there's reflection and journaling. And then you come back and then we do the second week, a new principle you learn. Go back and apply it. So I take them to a practical journey of applying the theory to practice and experiencing it for themselves and see the transformation. And Mario, you'll be surprised to hear that. So before the intervention, so I call this workplace intervention. I've just recently completed my Master of Research leading to a PhD in mindfulness for workplace wellness. And I did do my investigation with a 5-star luxury hotel in Sydney. And we ran this mindfulness program for a couple of weeks. Before the intervention, we did a survey to see how people were in terms of their mindfulness in their day-to-day life, the stress and everything that was going on.
Yeah.
So performance. And after that, after the intervention, again I went back and ran that survey. And then we saw that there was a difference between the pre-intervention and the post-intervention. This might all sound very technical. Let's put it in a simple way that before the mindfulness program, I did an interview and a survey. And after that, we again do that questionnaire. And you see that there is a shift. People see that,
yes.
Oh, I feel so much in presence. I have better relationships. I'm feeling much better about myself. I suppose my stress has reduced. I don't feel anxious anymore. You'd be surprised to see those results.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, how do mindfulness fit into various spiritual practice?
Oh, that's a very good question, Mario. End of the day, when we talk about mindfulness, it's all about our spirit, right? It's our soul and just being in the moment and being present. We are human beings, but we are not being.
Yeah.
We are doing. So we are doing, and we forget about the being. The moment we forget to be, we are disconnected from our consciousness. We are disconnected from the awareness of the present moment and our experiences. And in doing that, we are disconnected from our spirit. But when we start practicing mindfulness, we start getting connected to our spirit. And that's where it's just part of being. So there's nothing beyond that. It's part of the everyday thing that we do, whether it seems like a prayer, or maybe you're cooking, or maybe you're driving to work, or you're walking, you're having a sip of water. It's everything. So it's part of everything, the whole spiritual spectrum. That's what I think.
So when we talk about mindfulness, there must be some of the tools we can incorporate in daily life.
Yeah.
Is this something like, are we doing like a praise, or is like a meditation?
Meditation?
With Nutella jar or something like this? Like, look, I'm just trying to be funny. So there must be some tools we can incorporate in daily life. Can you share something like this?
100%. So with mindfulness, there's two ways of we practicing mindfulness, and we need to incorporate both for the best results. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that mindfulness is being in the moment, being in the present moment. And mindfulness is being compassionate. It's about having awareness and being on purpose every moment. So how do you develop that? So the way we develop mindfulness is through systematic practice and non-systematic practice, or formal and informal. How does that look like? So formal practice or systematic practice of mindfulness is meditation. It's the simplest form. And when I say meditation, it's nothing complicated. It's just sitting there for a moment, closing your eyes, just going into that internal journey. And there are various forms of meditation. People could use a mantra. People could use probably just their breath. People could just sit quiet without wanting to engage in any of these things. It could be a guided meditation. There's body scan meditation where you can scan your body from top to toe, and that gives you so much of relaxation. So various forms of meditation that we could practice on a day-to-day basis, but it has to be consistent. Even 5 minutes. Mario, tell me, who doesn't have 5 minutes? People think, oh, if I meditate, it has to be 20 minutes.
I think that people, first of all, I say like people, to everybody who's watching, I'm going behind because, I try to set up the proper light on Uma, because she's the star of the show.
Oh.
Being on Saturday here, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, Uma. And I must say, I'm very, very grateful that you found time today. When you talk about, interesting enough, today I opened what's it called, Chat AI. And I said like, yeah, listen to this. And you're going to love this. And I said like, give me the cons and pros for the working on Saturday. And, of course, life-work balance, you have family, you have family, this and that. And then in one moment I said to myself, the artificial intelligence can understand that these 5 minutes as you talk about right now, how important they are. And we all have the 5 minutes, but I don't know why people don't want to use the 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Please, you tell me. You're the expert. I'm just a guy who asks questions because I'm like a little kid. When we spoke about this, you said mindfulness. I said to myself, I need to come to these terms to understand what a mindfulness is. So, we had the 5 minutes. Yes.
So all of us have got 5 minutes, right? Do we have 1 minute? Okay, you don't have 5 minutes. Have a very busy lifestyle. How about 1 minute? So if we cannot make that 1 minute for us, then what's the point of even living?
Yes.
Right? We are breathing. We're not even conscious that we're breathing. We're eating. We're not conscious that we're eating. We don't taste things. We don't smell things. We're just always running like, having no tomorrow. Like that's the life we're living. So to be able to come to the moment, regardless, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be busy. But even in that busy lifestyle, so my lifestyle is pretty hectic. But even in this, the way that I'm able to manage stuff is because I give that time to myself to meditate every single morning, like morning and evening. You don't have to do it twice a day. You just do it once a day, any moment. And the interesting bit is you can do it anywhere at any time. You're traveling, like just before our session, I sat a moment when I was on my commute, just to calm down, to relax, take a deep breath, exhale, and just come to the moment, right?
I got from the Poon Bharat, Uma, please talk closer to the mic because your mic is there, but you're talking on the side. So so people can hear it now. So I'll make sure that your mic is being to the maximum, being to the fully. Maybe just we're just gonna make it a little bit more awesome.
I think.
So thank you, Poon Bharat. I'm gonna make sure that Uma. She can speak. So, Uma, can you say something?
Yes. Hello.
Okay, that's a good one. So, and how the mindfulness help us to reach our health goals?
Oh,
I'll ask, this is my personal question.
Yes.
How mindfulness can help me to reach personal health goals?
So health is different thing to different one in different aspects. They want certain health, mental, emotional, physical. We've got, health in every aspect of our being. And what happens is, let's see what is the problem we have in our life is that high level of stress and that we don't have time to take care of ourselves. And what happens is we have internal stress and external stress. What do I mean by external stress? Stress is coming from relationships, stress is coming from our work. And all these things, it starts to release, cortisol in our body.
Yes.
And all the stress hormones, right? So those are the external stresses. Then we have the internal stress. Something happens, we start thinking about it, we start ruminating, we have negative emotions, we have negative thoughts, and that's creating internal stress. So the external stress and internal stress together starts to deteriorate our body in ways that, we find it very difficult to rejuvenate. So when we practice mindfulness, what happens is it enhances our executive functioning in our brain. So when executive functioning starts to perform well, it means better memory, better focus, to be in the present moment. Say, for example, most often we find it difficult to stick to a goal and follow. Be it a health goal. Say, for example, we decide, I do not want to eat a certain food, or I want to go to exercise, whatever that looks like. The reason we can't do that is because we go on an autopilot and we do not follow that because we are being mindless of our day-to-day things. We are just on routines and schedules that's just run by the day. But when we practice mindfulness, we are being more conscious. And you'll be surprised, Maria. I wanted to, if you had a cup of coffee, I would explain that to you. Like, say for
Are
example-
you telling me I need to go buy the coffee now? So,
You should.
okay, that's okay. So after the show, guys, we're gonna have the coffee with Uma.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And so, for example, most often during the sessions, I'll get maybe a participant to say, okay, have a cup of coffee, and they just drink that, and then, okay, so how was it? Good. Okay, now what I want you to do is drink the same cup of coffee, but I want you to savor every moment when you're drinking the coffee. And then when you ask, oh, it was warm, or it was tasty, there's a little bit more sugar, or there was no sugar. So that consciousness about what we are eating, that the things that we need to be doing, all this contributes to better health and well-being. And not just the cognitive functions, but also the emotional regulation. Most often we snap at people when we get angry, or we might get angry. We don't know what we're doing, right? And then after that we regret, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. And because we don't have any emotional regulation. But when we practice mindfulness, we start to gain better emotional regulation as well. So the combination of the cognitive functions and emotional regulation helps us to be more healthier in terms of making healthier choices in our life. Be it food, be it exercise, be it any conversation or anything in our relationship as well, Maria.
You know, you make me think now. Seriously, you make me think now. Honestly, so if I want to embark on journey on mindfulness, what would you suggest? How to start practicing and how to start doing this thing?
Okay,
If we just let's say, okay, I'm getting now. I'm getting. I'm getting, but I'm not getting. I still need your help. Okay,
Yes.
but if I want to embark on that journey,
Yeah.
what you suggest me to do?
Of course. So, when I mentioned earlier, I said we have a formal and informal way of practicing mindfulness, systematic and non-systematic practices. The systematic, I said, is meditation, yeah? There are non-systematic way. There are, very informal way of practicing mindfulness. And that is simply mindful walking, mindful eating, mindful listening. So that is, what does that mean? It means just being in the moment. So when you are listening to me, you're absolutely here, right now with me. But Maria, is that possible? Not possible. Why? Because we have about 50,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day, of which 50% of the thoughts are negative thoughts. And 90% of our thoughts are coming from the previous day. And so when we wake up in the morning and we've had a bad day the last couple of days, we're going to wake up feeling the same way. Why? Because we are in an autopilot mode. We are living a mindless life most often. And so in being in the present moment, what it helps us to do is connect with our consciousness, being very, very aware. How many times, Maria, have you realized that you might go to bed and then realize, oh my God, I've got a sore leg, or my hand is hurting, or my head is throbbing. It had been the entire day, but we wouldn't have realized until we hit bed because we've been so busy and just away doing stuff and not being. So easy way for anyone to get into a mindfulness practice is just within you. It's not outside of you. It's to breathe and know when you're breathing. When I said breathe, we are breathing, but know when you're breathing. When you inhale, know that you're inhaling. And when you exhale, know that you're exhaling. So just being at that moment. And most importantly, mindfulness, for me initially it was practice and practicing, but then it became very natural. Like every moment of the day, being conscious, being compassionate, being non-judgmental. So you might say, things happen in our life, in our day-to-day life. We have so many things going on, right? Good things and bad things. When good things happens, what do? We embrace it. We love it. We love, a nice compliment from somebody, a nice meal, or, a vacation. We embrace these things. But when things doesn't go our way, when negative things happen, we want to push it away. We don't want to experience it because we judge those experiences as good and bad. But what is good and bad? Imagine you were just the person in this planet. You're just the only person in this planet. Can you tell me, are you tall or are you short? Most people would say, oh, I'm tall or I'm short. But how do you know whether you're tall or short? Because everything is in relation to something else. So you need someone next to you to know whether you're tall or short, right? But that doesn't happen because we have all these judgments about ourselves. And that's self-judgment, and not about ourselves, judgment about the others as well. So that's what creates a lot of trouble for us. So to be able to practice mindfulness is to let go of judgments, is to be in the present moment and accept our experience. When things go wrong, just accept and embrace it. So non-judgment, being accepting of our experiences, and just being in the present moment. It's as simple as that, Mario.
It is. I like to say thank you to the Bharat Panch.
Yeah.
If I said this properly, I apologize if I didn't say properly name.
That's my brother.
That's it. Hello, brother Ruma. Thank you for joining conversation. And you know, some of the questions coming from my personal experience, and some questions come, because I really want to ask you, and who better to put example than myself. And when we talk about mindfulness, we talk about many things. And can we talk about emotions for the moment?
Please, yes.
Does the mindfulness can help heal our emotional wounds? Did I say this okay?
You said it very right.
Is that okay?
Yes. If we can deal. See, let me put it this way. In order to heal, we need to deal with the pain in order to heal the pain. Deal with the pain to heal the pain. So, most often we don't deal with the pain. What we try to do is we try to avoid the pain. Why? Because pain is painful. Difficult experiences, difficult people, every difficult event, when you recall, it's so painful. And because it's painful, people tend to avoid it. They try to push it away. But what we need to do is we need to deal with that pain, which means sit with that pain. So for example, even whether external pain or internal pain, right? Say if your knee is hurting or your back is hurting, just for a moment, sit with that pain. Because you need to befriend the pain in order to deal and heal through it. So befriending means accepting the pain as if you invited it into your life. And accepting people, accepting the emotions, the pain, because when you accept it, the intensity and the duration of the pain starts to subside. But when we try to push it, when you try to reject the pain, the intensity and the duration of the pain will be more. So acceptance is the key in order to deal with emotional hurt. That's how we heal.
So after we heal, we are ready to have the new relationship. Okay.
Of course, with ourselves. Yes, and with others.
Okay, with the others. So like how the mindfulness can. When healing happened, emotional healing happened, it's interesting to know how the mindfulness can help us to move maybe towards next relationship.
The way it happens is with relationships, again, as I said, things might happen within relationships, not being able to understand each other or not being present for each other. Why does most relationship fail is that there is a lack of, there are various reasons, okay, we can talk about it all day long, but very simply the lack of presence and the lack of emotional intimacy, the lack of availability, the presence with the other person. When that presence is lost, when the disconnect happens, that's the end of it. The entire relationship crumbles and breaks down. And the way with that we can build great relationships, see, you can only meet others as much as you have met yourself. So if you've not met yourself, if you're not connected with yourself, there's no way that you could connect with anybody in this world. And hence, in order to connect yourself, mindfulness helps you to do that, because even with the worst emotions that you've experienced, and even if the anger or resentment that most of us sometimes have, right? We have guilt, we have regret about the things that happened in the past, fear about the future, anxiety about the future. This just separates us from being who we are. And by being in the present moment and now, we can embrace that and we can heal through that. And once you heal and once you become so present and connected with yourself, we are able to build a better relationship with others.
That's very interesting. Now, let's go move from this general wellness. I'm not surprised I discover actually, and through our conversation that you are doing the PhD, right? You just embarked to start PhD. But how the mindfulness actually can assist to the workplace? If we can tap into this one, mindfulness in the workplace. So my question I did run for, again, what tools and techniques can be useful in the workplace when it comes to the point of mindfulness. So tools and techniques of mindfulness in workplace. And congratulations, Nathan, congratulations on having the time, courage on embarking on that road for PhD. So yes, please, it's all about you, like mindfulness in the workplace, techniques and tools.
So the reason why, mindfulness can be applied in various industries, various aspects of our life, personal, work and everything. The reason I started to focus on mindfulness for workplace wellness is I'm an advocate for mental health in workplace, because it was, I told you earlier, my own journey. I was burnt out at work and I'm like, what do I do? How do I come out of this? How can I perform yet keep my stress at bay and also be happy and have good, health and well-being? So when it comes to workplace, again, people are competing with so many priorities, and that, the need to perform, the need to deliver, the need to, be productive at work. And, there's this goal oriented, running. Again, stress, anxiety, leading to depression. And did you know that as per SafeWorks Australia, about $430 million is spent on, claims, and out of which almost 90% is mental health stress claims. According to World Health Organization, burnout has been diagnosed as a syndrome, and hence it has a profound effect in the workplace. And hence that's why for me it was about to bring mindfulness into the workplace and make a difference in people's life, because if we make a difference at the workplace, that's going to sort of have a positive domino effect in their home life, in their community, in the country, in the world. So basically I thought, why not start at work and then help them to navigate through the challenges at workplace using mindfulness. And when you ask me about the tools and strategies, it simply comes to, of course, we need to learn the technique. So learning the technique is where I take them through an 8-week mindfulness program, teaching them every principle of mindfulness each week. So for example, I've run this mindfulness program with IT companies, banking companies, New South Wales Health. I've done it for hotels. So this is very applicable in different industries. And in fact, I want to even take this into prisons, and I want to take this into cancer institutes. I mean, this is so versatile and such a dynamic tool that's just within our reach that we could be using for powerful positive transformation. So at workplace, it's about running an 8-week mindfulness program, and when they learn each technique every week, then what we do is every week we go back and practice what we learn. And this will include both formal and informal practices, which is meditation, and also informal, like I remember one of my participants said, you know what, I've walked through this street so many times, I've never seen that flower. Today I drank this coffee and it tasted so good, or it tasted so bad. So basically, literally experiencing life as is, and to the unfolding of experiences, and accepting it as if we've invited it without wanting it to be any different.
Can I just share something with you? Like, okay, let's go right now. We're going to be, I want to say thank you, Nadan, Purvaja Barath, and if they say properly, Manu Clubs. Yeah. They all say glad to the join conversation. So thank you guys. If you listen right now, I didn't want to type message because it will be very rude now me typing messages while watching. But I just say thank you, Bharat, thank you, Nadan, Vijaya, Purvajaya, and Manu. So I apologize if I don't say your names, guys, properly. Umash is here, she can tell me that, be nice. But as I want to say thank you guys for joining us live with Uma, and she's sharing her wealth and abundance of her knowledge and experience in mindfulness. So how mindfulness can help reduce the stress, because we're really living in one stressful environment, and the workplace, it's one always. It doesn't matter what policy and procedures put on a place, it's always stress, it's always something. Yes. And how they can increase maybe better performance. So like two questions in one. Stress reducing stress, and secondly increasing performance.
Of course. So when it comes to stress, I mentioned earlier that we have both internal stress and external stress. External stress, things happening around us. Internal stress is all the emotions that we are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So in order to reduce stress, now external things happening to you, say a promotion didn't happen or you've got too much work to do, there's only so much you can deal with the external stresses, right? However, the internal stresses that you have in terms of the negative thoughts or the pressure that you're taking in is purely within your control. And by being more calm and composed and by practicing mindfulness, by being in the present moment, taking deep breaths now and then, you're able to manage your emotions better. And when you start getting control of your internal stresses and have a better control of your emotions, and through practicing mindfulness, because your cognitive functions improve, your executive functions improve, and you're creating new neural pathways in your brain that allows you to rewire your brain. And when that rewiring is happening, you are able to have better memory power, enhanced cognitive skills, emotional intelligence, right? Concentration, focus. Imagine when you can have all this, it's like a superpower. Something that you take probably 3 hours to do, you might finish it in an hour. And all this emotional baggage that you carry because you get angry with someone, you get upset with someone, and then you get engaged in these conversations, all those things would never happen. You'd start see yourself having very healthy relationship with people. So workplace becomes a much more happier place. So you're more in flow. You can feel more fulfilled and happy because you're so much in control of your emotions. So that's the way we can manage our stress and improve our performance and also our well-being in workplace through the practice of mindfulness. And I've most often seen that after practicing mindfulness that employees have said how much they've seen a difference, not just in workplace, also outside of workplace with their relationships and so on.
So how this, you just answered a few things I want to ask you, but it's okay, I'm going to repeat again.
Yeah.
So one of these questions I want to ask you literally touched this few times, but how can mindfulness help teams to improve collective problem solving and decision making?
It's an excellent question, Mario, mainly because people think, oh, mindfulness, it's individual. I'm practicing mindfulness, but how is this going to change things in my team or my workplace environment? How will that shift things? It's very simple. It's not just one person practicing mindfulness. It's collective mindfulness. It's collective consciousness. It's building mindful leaders, mindful teams. So when we work collectively as a mindful group, what happens is we start to see collective changes, collective problem solving, because we all are working from a space of heightened consciousness. Imagine everybody in that team working with a heightened sense of consciousness and awareness and being so non-judgmental and accepting of each other, being in the present moment. What an incredible experience that would be to be working at a level where everybody is on the same space. Hence, collective intelligence can be created through collective mindfulness practice in the workplace.
That's very interesting. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. So let me, I have the more questions for you, but that's I can see that people are coming live. Purvaja brother says, I genuinely never thought this topic, mindfulness, will have an amazing, deep meaning. So inspiring. So I'd say thank you guys for joining us live. Thank you for supporting Uma. Very important, because this record is going to stay forever on TV and on YouTube. So apologies, not TV. But I said it's going to be not just TV, but it's going to be legacy of Uma. We can all learn from it. So guys, spread the word. Let the people watch this and learn from Uma. And as well, in the comment section, those who don't know, I'm going to put how to contact Uma, where you can find her, how you can reach her and learn more. But Uma, I have more questions for you.
Yes.
So I try to, I printed the paper, but I left it home. So okay, so how does mindfulness help to foster creativity and innovation in the workplace?
Oh, that is an excellent one. Because coming back to what happens inside our brain when we practice mindfulness is that there are, let's take it this way. Let me explain it this way. So when you go to the gym, you're building your muscles in your body, right? But when you practice mindfulness, you're building your mental muscles. You're practicing, you're massaging it. And those new neuro connection sparks inside when you meditate, sparks in your brain. And that helps to develop creativity. So what happens is when we meditate, we go into alpha waves. So there are different wavelengths in our brain. Alpha, theta, beta, gamma, so on. Alpha waves helps with creativity. So when we are able to practice mindfulness, just being calm and quiet, the mind calms down. It just settles down. Just imagine, Maria.
I just love how you say, like, just be calm. Just feel calm. Like, when somebody comes to the workplace, like, it's always making somebody make you angry. How I can be calm?
Now,
but sometimes I want to just somebody, okay, I'm nice.
I know.
I'm nice guy. Okay.
You're very nice. Can you imagine, Maria, that I used to be called as the angry bird?
Okay.
Absolutely. I couldn't be even more short-tempered. Such a short-tempered person. I can get angry at the drop of a hat, and I can be always anxious and stressed out. Always stressed out. So much doing. And now to be at a point where I can just be, just calm, just relaxed. And not just because I've stopped anything in terms of my work. In fact, I've added so much to the work that I do. But I think I'm able to be in that space of calmness and groundedness and be in the moment and just be settled is mainly because of the fact of mindfulness. Because when you practice mindfulness, you start to get calmer. And even at tough times, you don't react. Because most of the time, people are reacting to situations. What we want to encourage people to do is to respond.
Interesting. Okay.
Rather than react. Say someone says something to you. Rather than just, reacting to something, just take a moment. Just pause. And just say, wow, that's interesting. Looks like you have a different perspective to it. Now, we can't have this conversation if we are not calm and if we are not composed and in the moment, right? And so in order to do that, when we practice mindfulness, what we really do is that create that sense of calmness within us and just respond to situations rather than react. That way we build better relationships as well.
I had some question. He says, I Beyond Fit, MMA Training Academy, Chennai. Sounds familiar to you?
Yes.
He said, integrating mindfulness into mixed martial arts training is going to be amazing. Let's collaborate, Uma. That's a good one.
Absolutely, because when we talk about mixed martial art, it requires so much of discipline and it requires so much of mental agility. And that mental agility and discipline comes from the practice of mindfulness, because having that heightened sense of consciousness, just being able to be in the present moment, no matter any distractions is happening to you, that is so powerful. And almost on a day-to-day basis, we keep mind wandering. So either we are in the past or we are in the future, and we are not in the present moment. And so when our attention is split between the past and the future, in the moment, we have only 47% attention. 53% is mind wandering.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, that's a new one. Okay.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, most
Please.
people, that's what they do. There's only 47%. There's research that backs that up. And 53% we are mind wandering. So if you're mind wandering, it becomes hard to, be in the moment. Or how many times have you left home and did I take my keys? Did I switch off the light? I have showered, Mario, thinking, did I put conditioner first or did I put shampoo first? Or did I do it the other way around? Because I've not been in the moment at all. So it's so important with those developing the consciousness that with mixed martial arts, bringing mindfulness into mixed martial arts is very, very powerful, because it does build being in the present moment, which is so very important, right? When you need to.
Can I share something with you? Can I share something like, so I'm turning my head towards the big screen where Uma, she's alive. We can see the live presentation of Uma Panch. First of all, I'd like to say thank you guys for coming today, watching Uma and her presentation. It's difficult to hack the brain of anybody who doesn't want to be hacked. But today, Uma, she's sharing with us. We don't need to hack her brain. And one of the viewers says, thank you, Uma. Makes sense. What I find helps to It's to wake up and meditate for a few minutes before starting your day. It provides that inner peace that is in our true innate power. So when the situation does inspirational light arise, we know how to react and apply that mindfulness. Thank you, Shika. Sorry, I'm reading from the corners, like I'm trying to. So apologies. So what would you try to say that person actually? Those are as a special light arises, we know how to react and apply that mindfulness. Can you maybe?
Yes, the fact that when we wake up, that is especially the first. It's an excellent point that Shika shared, that especially when you wake up, the first 20 seconds you're actually still in alpha state. It's a very powerful state to manifest things into your life, because at that very raw state, if we can practice mindfulness and just harness the power of our life force energy, you become super powerful. So I love what Shika shared in the fact that, being calm and just being present and practicing mindfulness, a bit of meditation and just grounding ourselves, because the moment you get into the world drags you in. It's like a whirlpool. You have no control over what's happening, right? That's how things happen on a day-to-day basis. So you, before you get into that whirlpool and, as Mario says, life, the battlefield, before you enter the battlefield, you prepare yourself with mindfulness. And that's where my samurai mindset master comes in, teaching people how you can absolutely harness the power of now. You've just got it. It's not that you have to buy it. You don't have to pay to breathe. And when you breathe, you come to the moment. You are mindful anyway. So excellent points there, definitely, Mario.
Okay, I have the one more question for you. It's the last one, but we're going to continue conversation anyway. Yes. So, if the workplace wants to facilitate mindfulness in the workplace, how they can do? They go on your website and say what they need, or what's the process?
Yes, of course, there are various ways to reach out to me. So they can reach out to me on my email, uma@umapanch.com, and they can Google.
If you want, I have the mobile number, please.
My phone number. Okay, fine. If you want to reach out to Mario is privileged. He can share my phone number, and then you could reach out to me through any of the social media channels, Facebook, LinkedIn. Just shoot me a message and say, hey, I'm really interested to find out more about this. And the way, Mario, I do this is just not, it's not a one-size-fit-all kind of method. I would really like to go and understand what the company needs are, because every company, every organization's need, be it a small organization. So I do work with small, medium, large organizations. I work with entrepreneurs to build their mindset and mindfulness. So whichever that is, I'd like to first understand what their needs are. So after I do a need assessment, I run a 1-hour information session for them to understand, get an experience of what mindfulness is. And then we work on a project. It could be 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. And that's how we work in learning and training the team into learning mindfulness.
So I have here something. I just want to make sure that we are watching camera properly.
Yeah.
I was reading. So there's again... he's a retracted message. Okay, doesn't matter.
Okay.
How much inspiration actually involves? How much inspiration we need in mindfulness? Do we need any inspiration or any motivation, or is anything externally requiring any input for the practicing mindfulness?
That's excellent. See, anything requires inspiration, Mario. Inspiration, I think people most often say, I want motivation, I want motivation. No, you need inspiration. That's what I say, because motivation can, today can speak to someone and feel motivated, but inspiration is much more deeper. That is, usually comes from desperation. For me, my inspiration came from desperation to get out of. So first of all, the intention that I want to make this change for myself. The why you need to do that is your inspiration. And always when you're in doubt of, or you don't feel like, there'll be days like, I don't feel like meditating, I don't feel like practicing mindfulness. Well, it's just being, that is so, it's natural to us. It's very natural because we are human beings. So it's very natural to us. But we've gone away from that and got disconnected. So just go back to the thought that I am a human being and I'm meant to be. And so that realization and that ability to come back
and know that it is just within you. And all you've got to do is take a couple of deep breaths and exhale. And only ask, why do I need to be mindful? It's because it's important for my well-being. When you ask that why question again, you will automatically feel inspired to practice mindfulness.
My God, Uma, I'm so glad that you're today in the studio with me. So for last 1 hour, thank you for sharing.
Is it 1 hour already?
Yeah, it is 1 hour.
No way.
Yes, it is. Check it. It's a 4:50 p.m. on Saturday, 27th of May.
Wow.
And I'd like to say, guys, if you have any questions for the Uma, feel free to contact her. I'm gonna put those who don't know, and I have her number. Yes, so I can't give it without approval. But the point is, feel free to contact Uma. And learn about mindfulness. So tell me, Uma, what is the major reason you see that people are refusing to apply mindfulness?
The major reason...
There must be those who, like me, who wants to embrace, but it must be the group of people who are like, come on.
Yeah.
That is not for me.
Exactly. The reason why that happens is that the lack of awareness of what mindfulness is. They feel it's very complicated. Today, mindfulness, forward-thinking companies like Google, Apple, you've got mindfulness in military, you've got mindfulness in Air Force, you've got mindfulness applied in various government, and other industries as well. And so what happens is, why people don't get into mindfulness is the thought that it's very difficult, and that's why I'm doing my best to create that awareness about mindfulness so that people can know what this is and they can practice mindfulness. But if you know, and hence that information session that I provide will allow people to understand what mindfulness is, and then they can start to bring that into life. So it's an understanding of the concept, and that's why, Mario, there are many people who teach mindfulness, right? So if anyone would wonder, okay, so why Uma? Why would I have to go with Uma? I said, one important fact is that mindfulness actually comes from the Eastern world and has been sort of scientifically proven in the Western world. Okay, so I have an Eastern background, as you can see.
Yes.
And I have done my research, and I have embraced the Western system of deconstructing mindfulness, understanding the nitty-gritties of it, right? So with the wealth of the wisdom from the Western world and the scientific knowledge of the Western world, the wealth of knowledge from the Western and the scientific evidence from the Western world, I put this together. Yes. So now, when we bring the East, this is, I think, the best of both worlds, right? The Western and the Eastern.
Yeah.
So now, that is one thing. The second part is, I am a practitioner myself and a trainer, and also researching on mindfulness and always trying to bring the best to the industry so that everybody can be benefited by the power of mindfulness. So I guess that is that combination and the genuine interest to uplift humanity. I really wish people, and I truly believe they don't have to suffer as much as they suffer these days. But through practicing mindfulness, I think we can avoid a lot of those suffering and have a much more enhanced, beautiful, enriched life.
It's a very good one. I'm just checking if I have more questions, but I do have more questions, but because it's a 1 hour almost, I think the people want to relax now, but it's I have to say, at the beginning, we did have 20-something people watching now, so people slowly, need to go to do the dinner and everything else. I'd like to say, guys, thank you everybody who come today on my channel, Mario Beckes, watching the Uma. I'd like to say, Uma, thank you for bringing all your listeners and viewers. I can't wait we do this again. Maybe we expand the group. You bring some of your guests.
I will.
And then I can sit on the side, just do my iPad. You guys, you can talk, right? But the thing is, I think that this is the great conversation we have today, and thank you for sharing this with our audience afternoon.
Thank you, Mario. And I think it's really, that's the most challenging seat. One would think that, it's the challenge for the guests to be here, to be talking about and thinking and answering and everything. Your role is the most challenging role because you've got to be asking the question, you need to be managing the audience. This is such a multitasking role.
This is the beauty with you, Uma, I've explained with you as well the power of podcasting, and it's I made a short video today which I already sent you while you spoke, that the power of this direct messaging, podcasting, that you have the direct access to the people who are watching you right now. And before we go, enough about me, it's about you. You are the guest, Uma. If you want to say something to your viewers and listeners, feel free to address them, and guys, we're going to see you later as well.
Thank you very much, Mario. First of all, I want to thank Mario for this excellent opportunity. I've been trying my best to bring the information about mindfulness, creating an awareness in the community, in the industry about mindfulness. So having that opportunity to do that at this wonderful secret location, studio, Mario, is absolutely spellbinding.
Thank you.
I really like this. This place is amazing, and also that Mario taking that effort to ask such stimulating questions, because it's an interview is only as good as the questions. So
Correct.
asking such stimulating questions and juggling all these multiple things in between to be able to bring this content to you, I think that is phenomenal. So as audience, I really, both of us would really like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule and staying up with us to understand about mindfulness, and we truly hope that you will apply that in your life. And should you wish to learn more about it and bring it to your organization, to your community, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you very much.
Guys, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for joining us today in secret location. Any questions, feel free to ask Uma. I'm going to put in comment section below all her details. And thank you for watching today. See you next time with Uma and the guests, because I asked Uma, let's go expand these weekends into the conversations which are going to assist all of us, including myself, to have a better life. Uma, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maria. My pleasure.
Thank you.